Welcome to Toy Business Unboxed, your gateway to the secrets of the toy industry. Here, Jason Shea, a toy entrepreneur and expert in the field.
Every product we develop is really inspired by some of the real life experience that we have with our son.
60% of all toys last year were sold on Amazon, which is incredible.
Be passionate about it because it's a road, it's a journey.
Like when you have an idea that you think is like gonna somewhat like change the world, make things better, I'd say go for it.
We'll guide you through the enchanting world of toy design, marketing, and manufacturing. Now let the unboxing begin.
Hi, welcome back to another episode of Toy Business Unboxed. Today's guest is Ericka, a powerhouse behind Puzzle of Color, a family-run Black-owned business that's changing what the puzzle look like and who they represent. Since 2020, Ericka has turned her childhood love of puzzle into a nationally recognized brand, and she has been featured on both CBS Mornings, The Views, and also in major retailers like Barnes & Noble and even Walmart. So thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, so first of all, if you don't mind, go ahead.
Sorry, I just wanted to clarify. We have not been in, we're not in Walmart yet. That is something we are hoping to do in the future, but we were in Target.
Oh, okay. I see. Okay, we'll correct that. So, again, thank you so much for being on the show. And let's just first go back to the beginning. What inspired you to start the company Puzzle of Colors?
Well, we grew up doing puzzles when we were little. When I say we, I mean me and my brother, who is my co-founder. We grew up doing puzzles when we were young, like literally, I want to say when I was about 6 or 7, and he's 3 years younger than me. So since we were young, we started doing puzzles, and that was just a way for my mom to keep us entertained during the summer and winter breaks, mostly in this winter, around Christmas break and things like that, just as a way to kind of keep our brains, going and stay away from all of the mind-numbing television that we were watching, I'm sure, at the time.
Yeah.
And so we always loved puzzles, and it was a really, tradition for us, but we never really saw a lot of diversity. We had a few puzzles that featured Black people, but it was very, very rare. And so as an adult, I got back into puzzles and was noticing that it was still an issue. It was not a lot of puzzles that featured people of color. And then also for us, we really like to frame our puzzles afterwards. And I was like, why are the images just aren't interesting enough? I wanted something that was beautiful, that if we're going to frame it anyway, it was something that worth putting on the wall. So, yeah.
I see. And as part of your journey, what has been some of the biggest challenge when you've since you started the company?
Oof. I mean, honestly, the entire thing. Can we say that? I came from, I used to be I worked for banks. I worked for Capital One Bank for 10 years, and I was, and I went to school for hotel and restaurant management. So the idea of starting a product business was just not really something that I ever planned. And so it was all a learning curve for us, the manufacturing and all those things. I'm very fortunate that my brother is a graphic designer, and he was working in a printing company before. So we had that kind of edge just for all things. But it's still just a lot of trial and error. We started off doing the puzzles in my garage. And so it was very much some trial and error of learning the pressure of a machine and what kind of power you need, all kinds of things. So it's been a journey.
I see. And one thing I think that's very unique with your brand is you actually partner with other designer and artists and try to feature their work as well. Can you kind of describe on how that process and how that selection even come about? And if you can elaborate on that a little bit.
Yeah, that is the great joy of the business, is working with artists of color. We started off just one of the artists was a personal friend of the family. My brother went to college with her. But many of the artists we've met through social media, because we have been in CBS and some other larger publicity media outlets. We have had artists that reach out to us. And
Okay.
so we've had kind of a mix of that. But really, it's just a matter of looking for art that kind of fits. So we do themed collections, so kind of fitting a collection or just fitting like kind of like what we feel is missing. We do a lot of in-person events and sell our puzzles there. And you'll always get
Mm,
people saying like, hey, I need something for a little boy, or I need something for, and they kind of explain like the audience. And then we're like, okay,
mm,
looking at what we have, or what are we missing? And we try to find something that would resonate with that audience. So,
mhm.
as puzzlers ourselves, we kind of pick the images based on what we were looking for, but again, based on the audience and what they're asking for as well.
I see. What was your first major partnership and how did it come about?
Well, as far as artists are concerned, I mean, we've been doing that since the beginning. So I wouldn't. We
Okay.
do actually work with up and coming artists.
Okay.
We have not worked with any like big names necessarily, but like all of our artists are like, very, very skilled and talented in their own rights. And we in
Mhm,
this last collection that came out last
mhm.
year, we have some like international artists that have exhibits in different countries, which is really, really exciting. I couldn't really tell you like who's the biggest artist. I think, like I
Oh,
said, they all
okay.
have their own kind of level of fame in their areas.
Mm,
But yeah, again, many of them we found through social media, and just like we've been fortunate that and who's willing to take us on.
I see, I see, I see. And what does that process look like, I guess? So you kind of talk to them, get their design and just turn that into the puzzle. Is that as simple as that or how many
Yeah.
additional steps is involved?
It's pretty simple. We reach out to the artist and we try to talk about, the company as a whole. We talk about what their creative process is, what they, are
Mhm,
looking to do as far as oh gosh, what's the word? Just like, where they want to do what they want to do is with their art, what
mhm,
pieces are most well received within their own audience. And then we select the piece that, we feel like fits best with the collection. We typically have like several pieces that we like for that artist, but we choose what kind of fits best with that collection. And then they would just need to send us the actual art in a high resolution file and send us their bio and all that information. And then we just go from there. My brother designs all of the packaging, and
mhm.
we get the box manufactured and go from
I
there.
see.
We do have like a really good relationship with our artists where they also, need to promote it on their end across their platform so that their existing audience can find our puzzles.
Mhm.
And then we always tag them on everything. We have them featured on our website and our social media to really, give those artists the platform that we have, and then and vice versa. And then anytime they have any kind of exhibits or things going on, we love to hear about it and share about it with our audience as well. So it's a
Mm.
nice symbiotic relationship.
And I think you actually take that relationship even further. You not only just feature the artwork, you also interview them as well, right? And you also, I think that's
Yes.
also a playlist on your website. If you can kind of also explain that part of the collaboration.
Yeah, absolutely. So part of the relationship is that we do an interview with them on a podcast that we have called Five and With. And that's
Hmm.
where all of our customers can listen to their interviews and hear about, again, their creative process, like what may have inspired that particular piece, how they became artists, how they are, making it in the art world. Because it's
Yeah.
really cool to hear, like, what are their day jobs, or if this is their full-time job, like how are they getting their art out
Mm.
there? So we talk about those type of things, and we talk about what inspired them. So part of that is
Mm-hmm.
usually music. A lot of our artists like are listening to music while they're creating, or they have sort of
Yeah.
songs in their head on what behind that art. And so
Okay.
we create a playlist of that same music for the
Hmm.
artist to be able, I mean, for the puzzler to be able to listen to while they're working on the puzzle. Because when you're
I
working
see.
on a puzzle, you are the
Yeah,
artist. You're seeing all of these
I see.
pieces and putting it together to make an image. And so it's like, you become the artist by listening to that same music and putting these pieces together and coming out with that final
Mhm.
product.
I see, I see, I see. Got it. And do you have the goal on how many artists that you're trying to partner each year, or is it just kind of depends on who the people you're talking to?
It depends. It depends on a couple of things, of course. Just depending
Okay.
on like I think the most we've come out with in a year of puzzles is about 12.
Oh,
Um,
12. Whoa, that's quite a bit. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, so we typically do a collection of anywhere from like 6 to 8 puzzles,
Okay.
and that's
Okay.
like once a year collection that comes out. But then we also do have this thing called Celebrature, which is a limited edition puzzle that comes out based on something that's happening in the world. So, for
Wow.
instance, Beyonce winning album of the year for the first time after many, many years of trying.
Yeah.
um, we did a puzzle called Cowboy Carter's Story, which is based on her most recent album.
I
We had a
see.
puzzle for Kendrick Lamar for Not Like Us. We've had puzzles about the Olympics. So any
Oh,
kind of
okay.
major cultural thing that's happening, we will do
I
like a
see.
really like quick turn puzzle that has to do with that. And those are
I see.
limited edition. And so then that, that the amount of
Mm.
puzzles that we do around Celebrature varies from year to year based on what's going on in the world. But then we do have again that staple, 6 to 8 puzzles that comes out on an annual basis during our collection release.
I see. Okay. Okay. What are some of the unexpected benefit that you or things that you notice since you started all the collaboration with different artists?
I would say, oh gosh, I mean, just the coolest thing for me in starting the business is just learning the way things work, like I said, manufacturing, the way
Mhm.
how everything touches. Like, I never really thought about as I'm doing a puzzle, like there is a printing company and then there's a
Mm.
box company and there's,
Yeah.
all of those different things that go into it. You
Yeah.
use, like I said, a pen or you use basic things and you don't even think about like all of the people that it took to make that thing.
Hmm.
And so, we've got our artists, we've got our printer, we've got our shipping companies that help us to get it to us. And that has just been fascinating and such a exciting thing to meet so many people that help make our dream come true.
I see. I see. And as you kind of expanding throughout the years, is there any like partnership that you just didn't quite work out as planned?
Oh, well, you know what? Just today we had an amazing artist that we really wanted to work with.
Yeah.
And we've been talking back and forth with her and
Mhm.
just, we could not come to terms on the contract. I'm like, oh, dang it.
Oh,
Like
I
we just,
see.
budget wise,
I
we
see.
couldn't make it work, unfortunately. So,
I
it
see.
happens every now and then. We've had
I see.
some, again, we work with typically up and coming artists, but we've reached out to artists that were huge and it was like, "Oh, your license is way outside of our budget. Like there's no way we can come to anything here." And so we
I
have
see.
had it happens every now and then, but life
Mhm.
goes on and maybe down the road we'll be able to make it work, but we're the king queen of pivoting. We've had so many things happen
Mm.
throughout the lifetime of this business, and we learned like, okay, like we can't sit there and pout about it. We just have to learn how to go on to the next resource and figure out what the next
Yeah.
step is.
I see, I see, I see. And how do you, in your process, how do you decide like which one to even reach out to? Like you mentioned, you try to reach out to some bigger or up and coming artists. Like, what does that research process look like for you and your team?
Um, we are always looking at the actual, like, and of course, the art itself. Like, we always try to find artists that like every now and then we found artists where we're like, we like that one piece, and then we realize, oh, we don't really like much other the rest of the art that we have here. So like, we typically try to find artists that we like a lot of their pieces because you never know if you reach out, then they might be like, oh, that one piece was a commission and it's not even available, and then what are you
Ah,
talking
yeah, yeah.
about? you know?
I see, I see, I see.
So we try to find artists that have a good amount of pieces that we're interested in. We also look for just things like detail, because when you're talking about a puzzle and you're gonna have it, cut into 1,000 pieces, detail is important. Like, there, so you have to be able to see, the strokes or the paint or whatever, something that differentiates the pieces from the sky to blue in someone's shirt or whatever. And we look for things we really enjoy. It doesn't happen all the time, but we really enjoy when there's an artist that has things that you can find in the piece. So if there's a lot of different things, like it's not, like we've had every now and then somebody will submit a picture of just a person, like a portrait, but then the background is just blank. And it's like, we need more, elements to it so that it can make the puzzling fun. Otherwise it's 400 pieces of white and then the person in the middle. So really trying to find like a lot of like dimension to the piece as well, or the actual part itself.
I see. I want to kind of switch the question for today's interview to talk about marketing for product like yours. Like, what are some of the marketing strategies that you have tried so far? What was working and what didn't work? If you don't mind sharing a little bit about your experience with our audience as well.
Yeah. Because we started the business, we started during the pandemic. And we started when puzzling was huge. And we started with cutting puzzles in my garage. We were really fortunate that like people were like, it was a really fascinating story. It's like, how are puzzles made? Everybody's doing puzzles. How are they made? And so we had quite so we had quite a few media outlets that reached out to just kind of cover that story of like, hey, this new hobby everybody has, how are the puzzles made? And like, let's highlight this cool new business. And so we really got our start in as far as like the marketing and publicity of our business through earned media and public relations. And that is how we've been able to we've been able to kind of ride that wave for quite a few years now, where we've gotten, we have this big, media push, and then we get a lot of new audience that way. And then we just kind of keep email marketing and things like that to make sure that we can, can capture those people. That way we have had quite a few, like not quite a few, but we've had some social media posts that have gone viral, and that's kind of helped us to our audience. But as far as like paid marketing, that's actually something that we are just now getting into and really trying to spend more effort in. So we've done a few videos with our product, just kind of showing the different uses for it, showing it at a party, showing it with the family, like all the different ways that puzzles can bring people together and make them, show that how cool we can be. But really, we're working on actually getting that media out there.
I see. Thank you for sharing that. And I think our team is also partnering with you with what to help with the Amazon effort as well.
Yes. Very excited to be working on our Amazon, and we've got, like I said, we've got some videos that will be posted on our products with that. And yeah, it's a new venture for us that we're super excited to see kind of like what that exponential growth can look like. I feel like we've been pretty consistent over the last few years, but really excited to see when you put some marketing power behind it, how that can grow even more.
Of course. And what role has the community played in your business growth so far? Are you also spending a lot of time on building different communities, or like top people that's passionate about the product that you represent?
Absolutely. We the first that started COVID, there was no it was an online community. But once the world kind of opened back up again, we really invested a lot into in-person events and really being able to see our customers, face to face. So we do quite a few pop-up events, local as well as, the large, festivals and things like that, where we can really see a lot of people in person and show see who resonates with what, like who is the audience for each piece. So that way we, can kind of, like I said, create that community behind it. And so we do have the Stay at Home and Puzzle Club, which is
Okay.
our loyalty program. And so
I see.
people who are already, customers of ours, they get special promotions and discounts, things like that for being loyal customers. And then we have like a
I
whole
see.
Instagram group all around, the new things that are coming out, and show us your videos, show us how you're using the puzzles. It's always so fun to go to events and somebody be like, hey, that puzzle's in my bathroom, or that puzzle's in my I'm doing my whole office around that puzzle. So really the
Oh, nice.
community around the actual art itself is absolutely amazing. We have actually won quite a few popularity grants because we have such a loyal audience and such a wonderful following between our customers in the puzzle space, but also the artists sharing about us and their
Oh, okay.
their customers, supporting us. We have been able to win quite a few grants to help keep the business running, just based off of the people being willing to take the extra step and vote for us as
I
their
see.
product.
Okay, nice. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that as well. That's definitely a long-term investment that we want to, as a business owner, trying to create community around the people that's passionate and is willing to do for us and our brand. That's very important for sure. So
Absolutely, yeah. One of the
yes.
things that I really
Mhm.
love about the puzzle industry is that it's a very, very supportive industry. I mean, there's quite a few
Mm,
puzzle companies that we've met at different trade shows and things like that, and we're always super excited to see each other. I was just actually at an event in New Orleans, and one of the puzzle
mhm.
companies was there as well, and we had
Oh,
dinner,
okay.
and we talked about like, hey, what's a challenge for you? How are you, getting around this? And so
Mhm.
very supportive of each other, and also like and helping each other to grow. So we've done quite a few like puzzle giveaways all together so that we can kind of tap into each other's audience there as well. So
I see.
yeah, very, very supportive, wonderful community. I think especially the puzzle community as a whole is a very super, super supportive group.
I see, I see, I see. Yeah, and besides, do you run any speed puzzling event as well, or what
You
kind
know
of
what?
other puzzling event?
We don't. It's so funny because I personally am not a speed puzzler. I am very much
I
puzzles
see.
are for relaxation, they're for unwinding. I don't do that.
Okay, I
But my
see.
brother is like I wouldn't say he's a speed puzzler, but he enjoys the competitiveness of it. So it's
Yeah,
interesting, how different people do. Um,
yeah.
so yeah, we don't, but we've actually talked about like kind of like sponsoring at one of those speed puzzling events, sponsoring a team or something like that. We have had
Mm,
quite a few companies reach out to us that do speed puzzling and ask, for us to
mhm.
donate puzzles and things like that. So we have done those things, but we have not
Oh,
officially been a part of running a speed puzzling at all. But definitely something
I
that
see.
will likely coming soon.
In the future, yeah, 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 for sure. So, what is next for Puzzle of Colors? Any exciting collaborations or any exciting project that you're working on?
Oh gosh. Next is, as you mentioned, we're working on expanding our Amazon, and so looking forward to that. We actually we've had an Amazon for quite a while, but we are quite behind as far as like our products. We've had way more products on our own website than on Amazon, so really getting those
Yeah.
transitioned over to Amazon will be wonderful for our Amazon buyers. Um,
Mhm.
Also, we are working on our next collection. We're super excited that in the fall, we will be having some new puzzles coming. We're
Oh,
literally signing contracts as we speak. And
oh,
so I'm
nice.
very, very excited about what's coming next with that collection. I believe it'll be about 6 puzzles,
Oh,
still
6 puzzles.
finalizing that.
I see.
But very, very excited about
Mhm.
about these new puzzles, and like I said, hoping to expand as far as retail,
Mhm.
working with our existing retailers on getting more pieces with them, and then also just getting into more stores so that we can become available in a store near you.
I see. Okay, thank you so much for sharing that. And as well, wrapping up in today's interview, if you have to share one piece of advice with someone that's just getting started within the toys and game industry, what would that be?
Oh gosh. Get ready for the unexpected. I
Yeah,
learn how to pivot.
yeah.
I know one of the things I just like last week said, like, we, as a family, family business is like, we cannot get stuck on the woulda, shoulda, coulda. Like, we have
Mm,
to, like, when there's a problem, we have to solve it first. And like, I understand
yeah,
needing to go back and like figure out how we can avoid this thing in the future, but like, we
yeah.
can't spend too much time wondering why this happened. We have to
Mm,
figure out how to fix it first. And so that is the biggest thing I think for any person in business, is like, fix the problem and fix it fast. And then again, always go back and figure out how you can have avoided it. But really,
mm,
just like, you have to keep moving forward. So that's the biggest
yeah.
advice I got.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing that. And for those listeners that's interested to learn a little bit more about you and your brand, where is the best place for people to find you online?
The best place to find us is puzzlesofcolor.com. We, of course, are available on all the social medias, which is a must in the business industry: Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, all the things. We're at Puzzles of Color. We also have custom puzzles. So if you're somebody who, wants a family photo or your own personal art done as a puzzle, we can help you with that. And
Oh,
then
okay.
also check out, we're available across Barnes Noble, Walmart.com,
Mhm.
what's it, Nordstrom, Macy's, and then of course, like, local stores near you, especially lots of bookstores and things like that. So check us out.
I see. Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much for sharing. And thank you again for being on our show and sharing your journey and your experience with our audience today.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
And thank you for our audience for tuning in to this episode of Toy Business Unboxed podcast. We hope you have enjoyed today's conversation and find it insightful and inspiring. If you like what you have heard, be sure to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform so you never miss an episode. We really appreciate your support and would love it if you can leave us a review and share the podcast with your friend and colleague. For more resource, tips, and the latest updates within the toys and game industry, visit our website at toy-launch.com. Join the conversation and connect with us on social media using hashtag Toy Business Unboxed. We'd love to hear your feedback and suggestion for future episodes. Until next time, keep innovating, keep creating, keep bringing joys to toys. This is Jason Shea signing off on the Toy Business Unboxed podcast, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.